This is it. This is it. Oh, God. Just came back from a run. I'm sweating beats here. Yeah, guys, if you want to go live with me, send me a message on Instagram and I'll send you a link and you can go live with me in this live chat. So yeah, here to answer your questions about vlogging, about Israel, about anything that you feel like talking about, let me know. Yeah, live stream with guests. Anyone who wants to come on the live stream, you are welcome. Anyway, I have some old videos, some cool old videos that I want to publish that I've been holding off on, so that may be coming soon. Videos like not from Israel. I just, someone asked where you're from in Israel, from Kfar Saba. I'm in Haifa living now though at the moment. I'm afraid that some of these really cool videos I have from some places from around the world will actually F up my algorithm, which is going pretty well now. Like my old videos from Israel are doing very well now, so that's kind of the problem with the whole thing, you see? So yeah, if anyone goes into my YouTube, you can see in my description that I have my Insta there. If you don't have my Insta, and then you send me a message on Insta, and I can send you the link to the link to join the live stream, right? So if you want to actually be on screen with me, then that's the way to do it. So yeah, if we have interesting people from places around the world, then you can join. I'm just trying to see if I can even get into the Insta on my computer and not on my phone, so I can see the message, because the phone is filming right now, so I can see your messages. Let's see if you can just log in here. Oh God. Check your notification on another device. Why is this so difficult, you know? Why? Wait a second. Times. Shalom from Iran. Would you be willing to go on a live stream, person from Iran, or is that too dangerous for you? Because that would be interesting, no? You want to join? Let's see, we're just getting into the Insta here. This is a new way of doing this kind of thing. Oh my God, enter a 6-digit login generated by an authentication app. Jesus. Challenged. It's crazy. Bravo, Greta Thunberg. Yeah, that was kind of funny. Where she had that smile like she's on a school trip and they hand out a sandwich to her, that little bitch. That was gold, huh? That was. What do you guys think of the Greta thing? What do you think? Let me know. Who was following the Greta thing? Hi, what's the purpose of this live stream? Just to talk, you know? If any of you have watched my vlogs, if you want to ask me any questions about the vlogs, about Israel, if you want to go live with me on the live stream, this is the first time I've added that option. Greetings, humans. So it'd be cool. Like there's some people, names here that I recognize that come back on the live streams and stuff, and then maybe I can meet you guys in person. You can join the live stream if you want. Yeah? Love you from Alexandria. Cool, cool. But I don't have Insta. Okay, later. I'll send it to you later via whatever, something else, you know? I think they should have let her through for good PR and optics. Rating the ship made them look worse. No, I don't think so. I think they actually handled it pretty well because what happened back in 2010 with the Navi Marmara, which was the ship that came from Turkey, where they were actually armed with clubs and things like that and attacked them. That one kind of like caused a problem. Here they just boarded. They were very nice. They gave them sandwiches, and you know they're screaming like we're being kidnapped and this. It made them look very, very stupid. You know, it made them look like attention seekers and idiots, as opposed to some great freedom fighters. So I think, and also they told them, you have aid, fine, put it here, and we'll pass it through the normal channel, so it doesn't go to whatever, Hamas or something. Good morning from California. Greta is harmless. Yeah, she's just she loves attention. Does our Greta? No, don't you guys think that? So yeah, that was the deal. Oh, I wish. See, my one of my problems here is that I don't have a holder for my phone. It broke, so I'm like I have something improvised here, so it's always constantly in danger of falling. You know. See, that's a good angle over there. Everyone, be sure to like the stream, please. Again, remember. This is the first stream that I've done where you can join me on the live stream. So what you have to do is send me a message on Instagram, and I'll send you a link. Yeah, I'll send you a link on the message, and you can come and join me on Instagram. You can join me on the live stream here if you want. This is the first time I'm doing this, so you got a chance to go live with Insightful Nomad. How are you doing tonight? I'm doing well. Just came back from my run, which is why I'm so I continue to sweat an hour after I run. Even though I have the air conditioner on and everything. So yeah, nice. Who's up to bat? Yeah. So you want to send link? Okay, we have someone here. Let's see if just this will be a test. 1 second. Let's see how we do this one. Avraham Echeskel says hi. And wait 1 second. Let's just see if this works. Wait, I have a link here. We copy this link, Control C. Hi Swedish, Control, okay. So there's a link. Now you get into that link. I sent you another link. You should be able to join the stream. Hello, Jewish guy from Egypt. Yeah. You mean the Jewish guy who visited Egypt, maybe? All right, I sent here. We're going to have our first live guest. Hi, says Palerias Serenivas. Nice to see you here. Okay. So we are trying the join live stream link here. And I sent it to you. Hi from Germany, Martina. Hello from Russia, Adri. Lucky the Fisher from Norway. Oh, look at this. It's popping off, guys. It's popping off. Will you debate people today? I'll debate. We don't have to debate. We can have a discussion, or we can just talk about anything. If someone wants to debate me, I'm open to debate. You got to come on the screen. You got to show your face. Hello from Morocco. Hi from UK. Wow, guys, it's popping off here. Look, you got a bunch of people. So it's only available on mobile phones. So yeah, you got to do it from your phone. All right. In the meanwhile, while Anna's struggling with the technology, if somebody wants to join the live stream, like me on screen, send a message on my Instagram to me, and I'll send you the link. If I put the link here in the thing, I think it's going to get out of Out of control. Love Jews forever from Armenia, says Harmony. Thank you. Love the Armenians. I feel like they share a similar story with us, the Jewish people, which is kind of cool. And I talked about that also when I was in Armenia. So yeah, I would prefer on the computer, but yeah, I can't fix that. Hey, with the aggressive flags. Who's this here with the aggressive flags? You put one flag, I'll let it slide, but don't go with the aggressive flags. Hello from Ohio. Like the stream to give our guys some support. My name, Alec. I thought Armenians love Turkish people. No, they don't. Mano Kumar. We have a guy called Manoj Kumar. Hey, Tom Yamamoto. Wow. Thank you for the contribution, Tom Yamamoto. You want to go live with me after you send that contribution? You get to go live. Send me a message on Instagram, and yeah. So anyway, what do you guys think? What do you think of the latest videos? What do you think of the explanation video? What did you think of the video in Jerusalem with Oriel, the Messianic Jew? What did you think of? What did you think of the video? Wait, this here. Maybe if I bring this closer, get a better angle. I feel like that's not a great angle. That's better, right? Okay. This is a bit far away. A lot of headroom, wasn't good. I feel like that's a little bit better. I enjoyed your vid with the Mideast tribalism and conflict. Good stuff, yeah? That's and you know, I'm looking at the stats of that video and the retention level is very high. Like higher than a lot of the videos that I made. So it shows maybe where a lot of the content is going in the future, because it's content that's interesting for me, easy to make, and can generate, you know, a lot of reactions. Good shit. What's good shit? A-Rao says, I want to know when Messiah is coming. And what's the prophecy? Well, depends who you ask. According to the Christians, the Messiah has already come, and he was Jesus Christ. So yeah. People want to learn and understand. I don't think people want to learn and understand. I think there are a few people who want to learn and understand, and most people don't. Most people just want to, when it comes to Israel, they don't want to learn or understand anything. They're just very aggressive, from my experience. But, you know, when Edom is destroyed, Edom has been destroyed a long time ago. Edom was a biblical kingdom, you know? So that's a bit of a strange one, I would say. Understand won't solve anything. Why do Israelis have so many different political parties? Because that's just the system. The system is anyone can start a party. And unlike in other places, for example, in Britain, they have districts, yeah? So if you don't get the majority in the district, all your votes just go away. You know, it's like the American electoral system, right? So if you vote in a state and your state doesn't win, you get nothing. In Israel, it's not like that. So every vote counts. So as long as you have enough votes to pass a sort of minimum threshold that used to be extremely low, which was 1 seat, then they put it up to 2, now 4. But even with 4, as long as you can get in, then people feel like, okay, I can start my own party and this with my own party. Instead of joining a bigger party and then like having a branch inside that party, they always start their own party, all these people. And a lot of these parties are very similar to one another, particularly in the center left. A lot of the parties are very similar. Who started the war first, Israel or Palestine? Which war? What's go on, says AJ. Anna, the problem I have is that my WhatsApp is not working on my computer, so I have to like interrupt the live stream to send it on my phone, and I'm using the phone to film. It's a problem here on Apple, how WhatsApp never seems to work on my computer. It's very useful to have WhatsApp on your computer. Anyway, come on, guys. I'm waiting for your, maybe if I update WhatsApp, it will work. I'm waiting for someone to join the live stream. Send me a message on Instagram, and you can join me here on screen and talk to me. You from USA. Israel forever, man. What about Discord? MT says W, you know. Talk about Greta. Is she going to ask for an Israeli passport? Probably not. But yeah, that was, I don't know. That's everything that's wrong with this conflict. It's all about PR stunts and media and all these kind of things. The little Greta Thunberg flotilla. You know what really annoyed me about the Greta Thunberg flotilla? What was really disgusting was that after the Israelis apprehended them for trying to sail into a war zone, that she didn't watch. See, that's what the MT is saying. She didn't want to watch the 7th of October film, right? So the Israelis, they wanted to show the people on the flotilla before they sent them off on their way to watch the video of what happened on October 7th, which is what started the war, of course, and they refused to see it. That for me is like everything that's wrong with this, because there are people who they don't want to see. If something doesn't align with what they want, then they don't want to see it, you know? So like the very least you could do is to see what happened. What, like if what, does the truth scare you? I don't get it. Everyone has an agenda. Mine is peace everywhere for everyone. Why should she watch it? Israel does 10-7 every day to Palestinians, but that's not true. Not true. Israel never did such a thing of a mob of people going around and murdering every person in sight or kidnapping every person in sight. And yeah, that's what started the war. And those hostages, some of them are still in Gaza. So I think the least you can do is to see what happened. Then you can disagree with the Israeli policy, but what's wrong with seeing what happened? Everything as FX says, it is not the problem of Palestine, it is the religion of Islam. Does Renzo want to go live with Alec? Shalom from Iran, says Behi. Where are you located right now in Haifa? 75 years. Yeah, 75 years Israel exists. You have a problem with that? The modern state of Israel, not the Jewish people or ancient Israel. After the video you made on an anti-Israel bias among travel vloggers, did any travel vloggers reach out with thoughts? No, not really. But the thing also about that is that was a live stream, right? It wasn't an actual video. So it's hard. Live streams don't get as much exposure. I just do the live streams more for fun and because I don't have to prepare, I just go live and whatever. To make a video requires more work. What do you think about the Maldin incident? What's the Maldin incident? Hi, brother. Lots of love and respect from India. I'm new to your channel. Hello. You want to come live on the show? I always wish to live in Israel, at least to be able to visit Israel. Well, I wish to visit Iran. It's a big dream of mine to visit Iran, but I can't do it until the Islamic Republic is removed, you know? Otherwise, it's not going to happen if I can't go there. The ship that was captured at the Gaza Strip, they tried to get aid to Gaza. Well, that's what they claim. I mean, they had basically like half a ton of tomato sauce or something like that, and they were going to break the blockade and save Gaza with that. But the aid is flowing now into Gaza, so it's not even necessary. Are you a Jew? Of course, yeah. Greta is an island in Greece. Glad to see that you're standing up for Israel. Much love from Jerusalem. Yeah, I try when it comes up. You know, the vlog dragged me into the Israel stuff very hard because, like a lot of the other content that I made, just didn't get that many views. So you find yourself back in this subject. But it's good. For me, it's interesting. I like to talk about what's going on. I really don't have a side. I just want peace between Egypt and Israel. There is peace between Egypt and Israel. There's no war between Egypt and Israel. I wish there was more peace between the people. If you ever come to India, to West Bengal, you live in my house. Hi from Ben Noach Gil Tilshav. I don't know what that means. Ben Noach Gil Tilshav. Do a cartwheel. All right. Guys, I remind you, send a message on my Insta, and you can join the live. You can be live on the stream. Don't you guys want that? Oh, somebody sent something. Wait. General. Wait, primary. So wait, somebody sent a message. What is going on? No. Did somebody send a message? Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about the people since I'm Egyptian and love Israelis, which others think the same. Wish or wish? You know, yeah, there's a lot of hostility to Israel among Egyptians, unfortunately. But not everyone, obviously. And I enjoyed my time in Egypt, and I said it, and I'll say it again. I enjoyed my time in Egypt, and I met some very nice people. I got some nice responses on social media, and I also got a lot of negative responses on social media. Shalom, ma shlomcha? Connie Moore says hi. I want to go live. Well, oh, you want me to send you on the WhatsApp? The problem is that the WhatsApp doesn't, my WhatsApp is not working, so it's a problem. We're updating the WhatsApp on the computer. I don't want to start taking my phone down from its stand now. That's a problem. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, maybe now we'll be able to do it. Hang in there, Anna. We're going to get to you. Do you think they'll be nice to Greta? I heard they're making their watch October 7 videos. Yeah, they don't want to watch the videos. Spain with Israel, regardless of our Hamas PM. Really? I don't know. I thought this, in Spain they're really hostile to Israel right now in Spain. Guys, in Spain, isn't there anyone who's concerned about Arabs claiming Andalusia as being an Islamic kingdom again? Because I feel like if they get enough of demographically strong enough in Spain, they're going to start to make that claim. I hear a lot of people say it. I met a Moroccan lady who said southern Spain belongs to us, to Morocco, to the Moors, the Berbers, because of the Andalusia thing. I don't know. No, Spain is okay. Connie says hi. Hi. You always keep looking not at the screen when I send questions. Sorry, there's just a lot of people here, so I'm trying to keep track. Please send the question again, and I'll take a look. Like I'm looking here. This is the screen. I have one screen here, one screen here. Yeah. Looking to visit Israel in November this year. Safe enough to feel fine bringing kids? Yeah, sure. It's okay. Because there was that period where Hezbollah was sending all those rockets and Hamas was sending all those rockets, but now that stopped, so it's pretty safe to go to Israel also with kids, not a problem. Jews have a long history in Spain, the Sfaradim, of course. Same way you said God promised you the land 3,000 years ago. But that's a kind of I keep seeing that God gave me this land 3,000, like it's a very simplistic way of looking at things, you know? I would say that to Jewish people, we have a deep connection to our history and to our culture, which is the fact that our language and our religion came from the land of Israel. Jewish people have 3,000 years history in the land, and we deserve to be self-determined as a nation in the land. That's kind of the way most countries around the world work, not just ours. You can take the more religious element, which is to start talking about God and the Bible, but it's not necessary to make the claim, you know? There was a rocket today from Yemen, yeah. They have Granada, Alhambra. I visited Alhambra back in 2019 when I was in Spain. Andalusia allowed Jews to stay, but Spain expelled them after the Reconquista. They allowed Jews to stay as dhimmis, as a subjugated people under Islam, as well as the Christians. But the problem, it's true that Jews lived under the Muslims and also under Christians in Spain, but a lot of people, they paint this very rosy picture of like the golden age of Islam in Spain, where everybody lived in this perfect harmony, and it's just not true. What you had was a very violent conquest that came from North Africa, where they basically burned all the churches and everything along the way. And then the populations that were left, the dhimmi populations, Christian and Jewish, were allowed to stay as dhimmis, right? So you have to pay your subjugation tax to the Muslim overlord, and then you're allowed to live with your own beliefs, right? Usually in kind of like segregated areas and so forth. So yeah, it wasn't like equality or anything like that. And also when the Almoravids and the Almohads, which were new dynasties that came later, like in the year 1100 and something like that, they were actually quite violent. And when the Reconquista was completed in 1492, when they captured the kingdom of Granada, there were no Christians left in the kingdom of Granada. And the tolerant, multicultural, amazing golden age of Islam, Granada, there were 0 Christians when they conquered it, and very few Jews, because nobody was able to live there anymore, because it wasn't so tolerant, you know? Someone said it would be funny if there was an alarm in the middle of the show. Yeah. Isn't there a synagogue in Cairo? Yeah, there is. But you don't want Palestinians to have self-determination. I never said that. I've always been in favor of Palestinians having self-determination. Like, both sides can have self-determination, but the Arab and Muslim world has to accept Israel, which they don't. The expelled Jews went to Ottoman Empire. Yeah, some of them like went to North Africa and to also to Turkey. There used to be synagogues in Iraq and Afghanistan. The wars ended that, perhaps. All right, who is balls enough to join the live stream? How do you go about finding bomb shelters as a self-tourist? Is there a pinned map online? So do you have Discord? I have see, the problem is I'm locked out of my Discord. I actually had a Discord group, and I got, as the admin of the group, I got locked out of my own group. So I don't have it on my PC. What I have is Instagram. So if you go into anyone who goes into my YouTube page can see my Instagram there, and there you can follow me or send me a message or whatever, and then I'll send you the link, you know, to join, to anyone who wants to join. I don't know how many people at a time can join, so. Chiloni Masorti Dati, like Chiloni Masorti, like, you know, like asking if I'm secular, a little bit religious, or religious. I'm kind of like between I'm not completely secular, like, because I do holidays and stuff and things, but I'm not that religious either. So allow them to have a state. I don't know, didn't they have a state in Gaza? Gaza was a state. There were no Israelis in there. There was no military in there. They had complete control of the territory. And yet they used all the resources they had to attack Israel. Barriers versus Pacquiao. Who is your bet? I didn't know Pacquiao was still fighting. Is that Manny Pacquiao, the Filipino guy? I thought he was retired. Anyway, what a weird question to ask all of a sudden. But yeah, boxing's fine. The thing that I don't like about pro-Palestinian Egyptians is that they're Palestine first and Egypt second. Like, we need to fix our country first. I agree. Egypt has a lot of things that need to be worked on, and you know, it would be nice if Israel and Egypt had better relations. I think we could cooperate on a lot of things that would be mutually beneficial for both countries. Wandering Nomad said hi. Shawarma or schnitzel? Depends how good the schnitzel is. Like, on average, shawarma's better, but a really, really good crispy schnitzel is like. Pacquiao has 2 ballistic missiles. Can you visit Kurdistan region of Iraq? Maybe. I want to. Auschwitz was a Jewish state according to your interpretation. That's so stupid. My God. I can't believe people, the things they say, it's just crazy. You know, this Gaza was an open-air prison legend with all the fancy malls and the BMW trading centers and the hotels and everyone having a smartphone and, you know. It's an enemy territory, though, for sure. It's run by an Islamic fundamentalist, internationally recognized terrorist organization that's dedicated to the destruction of Israel. So obviously Israel doesn't just allow them to import whatever missiles they want. And that makes their life worse, but that doesn't mean it's a prison. Do you expect Israel to go into Iran full force? What does that mean, full force? Like a strike? I mean, I know that Israel wants to strike the nuclear program of Iran to stop them from getting the nuclear weapon. Trump said to have told Netanyahu to end Gaza war, attacking Iran off limits for now. That's what the news is saying. I do think that Trump is going to put pressure on Israel to end the war. But yeah, what else is in the news? I don't know. I don't think Netanyahu would ever do an attack on Iran. He's too much of a coward to do it. Like, I'm not saying it's necessarily the right or wrong thing. I just don't think he has the balls to do it. Even Warsaw Ghetto had hotels. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. And the people, look, the thing, Mr. Rizal Peso, whoever you are, is that the people inside the Warsaw Ghetto didn't have a charter calling for the murder and annihilation of all the German people. They didn't fire rockets into Berlin. They didn't go armed people into, I don't know, schools and whatever, civilian areas and start murdering people in the name of taking over all the territory. So, you know, what can I say? People want to believe that will believe. You can't argue with such people. The mustache man might have been right, but disagree with his methods. Okay. Anyway, you guys are debating, but nobody wants to come on and debate. If you want to support the mustache man, as you call him, then show your face. If you stand behind what you say, if you're not in one way or another, then show your face. Send me a message on Instagram and join the show. You know. Wait, I think I have here. Oh God, why does this never work? Jeez. Can we debate Boosie? I don't know. Which one is Boosie? My great-grandfather was Red Army officer who liberated Auschwitz. That's cool. Have you ever been to Germany? Yeah, I've been. First time was 2014 when I was an exchange student in Austria. I did a road trip to Berlin. And second time was 2021 when I went skiing in Austria. and I was with a friend. We rented a car and we drove to Munich. And he had some friends there that we met. And we hanged out a couple days in Munich. It was actually pretty cool. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch, ja, mit einer Österreicher Akzenten. I learned that when I was in Austria, when I studied in Austria for half a year. Trolls hide behind fake profiles, fam. Sehr gut, says Anna on my German. Yeah. Anyway, we're still waiting for our first guest. An opportunity that won't necessarily return. I don't know if I'm going to do a lot of live streams where I allow other people to join. But wait, is the monetization even on this thing? What did I miss here? Hi from Germany. Oh wait, that was before, right? Oops. I speak very little Yiddish, but my grandma taught me, but I forgot most. Yeah, I don't speak Yiddish, but it's a mix of German and Hebrew, right? And if you have the ultra-Orthodox in Israel, they speak Yiddish. Let's talk about Smotrich and Ben-Gvir. Fine. What do you want to say about Smotrich and Ben-Gvir? Who's up? First guest for Nomad. Hashem is the message. Somebody says. Wait, what's going on with this? Wait. Oh, okay. Oops, I screwed up here on something. All right, there we go. Okay, yeah, we're still waiting for... Okay, someone wants to talk about Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, which is fine. Like, what's your question about Ben-Gvir and Smotrich? Sid says the Jews occupy the world and cause so much misery, meaning the Jews, right? Free Palestine and free the USA from AIPAC. Okay. The AIPAC thing is funny, right? AIPAC is it's like the Israel lobby group in the US. The American-Israeli something alliance. I don't even remember what it stands for. But it's funny because AIPAC A lot of people, they say that AIPAC controls America, right? Because it's the Jews, right? And the Jews control America. But AIPAC, they are funding, like the amount of money that they put into lobbying. There's a list where you can see how much money each group puts into lobbying in the U.S. And AIPAC, it's like place number 32 or something on the list. It's like in the top 10, you have a bunch of pharmaceutical companies, weapons companies. That organization in the U.S. for bearing arms that, is, and what's it called? NRP, NPR? I don't know. I don't remember. NRA, maybe? I don't know. They're also in the top. Like, there's a ton of them. Like, the AIPAC isn't even near the influence. There's also the whole issue, of course, of Qatar that pours a lot more money into things like American universities and things like that they actually have a lot of influence on the discourse, I would say. Do you support immigration to Israel by Israel supporters, not Jews? I don't know. I think we have a good, relatively good social cohesion with the system that we have right now. And of course, NRIS, National Rifle Association, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, so they're also up in the top there. Like AIPAC isn't even close to the top. But fine, there's a trope, right? Dave Rockefeller, greetings from Armenia. Hi. Still waiting for our first guest, everyone. What do you think about rebuilding the third temple? I don't want to rebuild the third temple, but I do support Jews being able to pray on the Temple Mount, right? What do you think is the pro-Palestinian point you agree with the most? I don't know. I mean, the line pro no one dares to debate you because you have immense knowledge and your answers would crash their narratives. I don't know, but says Martina. The problem with the Palestinian point, the question is it a Palestinian point made by Palestinians internally, or is it like a point that an academic outside Israel says that doesn't really represent what the Palestinians want, right? So some people, they'll say Israel is a state and the Palestinians should have a state, be self-determined in their own state. That's on Israel to sort out. And as long as they don't have a state, they are going to be, oppressed people, and they're going to do terror and do things. And it's like, what do you expect of them? They're stateless people, right? They're fighting for their independence. And I mean, yeah, I understand that argument to a certain extent. The problem with it is that it's an argument made by people that doesn't really represent the Palestinian cause. The Palestinian cause is not to have a state next to Israel, it's to destroy Israel. That's always been the cause, or to deny the Jews being self-determined in their own country. That's what was going on here in the 20s and 30s. It was the Arabs, as they were called then, not the Palestinians. In all the documents that we have, were pressuring the British not to allow Jews to come. When various partition plans were put forward, they rejected them. They constantly launched things like attacks and revolts and things like that, also against the British, because they were against it. So, the idea of, if someone says, if you take a Palestinian point, so to speak, which is the Jews should be self-determined in their own country and the Palestinians should be self-determined in their own country, then I agree with that 100%. I advocate for it. I just don't think that's their cause, I don't think that's their cause. Also, I would say that we do have some Jewish terrorists in the West Bank. I mean, not nearly as much as is presented sometimes, but we have some radicals there, and sometimes they go and they harass Palestinian farmers or whatever and things like that, and that's disgusting, So there's no justification for that, and the IDF doesn't do enough to stop those people sometimes. So that's a perfectly valid point, I would say, in to their credit. Would you have allowed Arabs to stay in the partitioned Palestine, or would you have expelled them? Me, personally? Or are you saying what I think the Israelis would do? But of course, again, that's the thing. They had in general, I don't think this idea that having a state of Israel was always meant that Arabs can't live here, either in their own state or within Israel. We have 2 million Arab citizens in Israel that aren't going anywhere. We have tons of Arab neighbors around us. So it's possible. I just, one of the prices they have to pay is they have to accept the existence of Israel. They have to stop having as their struggle, which is a deep, dark tunnel for the Palestinians and their supporters, of suffering, of expulsion, of refugeehood, of things true, half true, or completely false, doesn't matter. They're in this big struggle. And at the end of the struggle is justice. At the light at the end of the tunnel is justice. What's that justice? The end of Israel. That's what makes it all worthwhile. They have a cause, you know. They have meaning, and the cause that they believe in so strongly is that Israel shouldn't exist. Israel is a illegitimate colonial apartheid, blah, whatever, call whatever you want state, and it will go away someday. That's what they believe, you know, and that's a dead end for them, I would say. So that's the thing. South Africa is a failed state. Regards, South African. Okay, I've never been to South Africa, but I know it's not going very well there at the moment. I mean, it turns out that South Africa is a sad case because it really encapsulates a problem we've seen throughout history too many times, which is that revolution is the easy part, maybe, or the fun part, or the exciting part. And then comes the tough part, which is governing, you know? And that's what happened in South Africa. They had a revolution that was absolutely necessary to end apartheid, which is a horrific, racist form of government. And now the country's just governed like shit. Like, the people at the top are terrible. They're themselves racist, right? They're killing white farmers left and right, confiscating their property and things. And they're just acting like a government of thugs. They're not running the country properly. And it's just a case of, it's kind of like Animal Farm, if anybody read the book by George Orwell, which was an allegory for what happened in Russia, right? They overthrew the Tsars, which was an awful system of you know, royalty and like these serfs who had nothing, right? It was a class system. The Red Revolution came in 1917. Then came the communists, and they were worse, or just as bad, you know. And you see that happen a lot. That you have this big revolution, and then what comes after is really bad. Like the Arab Spring is another example. There, a big revolution, and what came afterwards? More dictators, more bad stuff, you know. What do you think about ties between Israel and apartheid South Africa? Apartheid South Africa doesn't exist anymore, but they had ties. Yeah, it's true. Back in the day, like Israel had ties with South Africa. Animal Farm was about communism, and 1984 was about fascism. Ibrahim 20, read my comment, says Ibrahim. Read my next comment. I'm a big fan of you. Which comment? I don't know. Do you know much about 2008 offer by Ehud Olmert? Yeah, of course. There's more details that came out from the offer, but the offer, it's a classic issue, right? Of the problem in the conflict, which was the territorial aspect, which is much talked about, especially concerning the Israeli settlements, right? Was resolved in the Olmert deal that was offered in 2008, same as the Barak deal in 2001, meaning the Palestinians would get West Bank and Gaza. Solutions for Jerusalem, for the holy places and everything. Everything was basically done according to what the international peace process had laid out in Oslo and whatever. And Mahmoud Abbas walked away because he couldn't sell it to the people, to his own people, because he has to give up right of return, right? He has to tell them, look them in the eye and say, you don't have a right to return, quote, someone who never lived there, but return to Haifa, where I am now, or to Jaffa, these places that used to have some Arab populations. You can just return there. It's like that, which means erasing Israel, right? The right of return. You don't have right of return. He wasn't able to do that, just like Arafat wasn't able to do that. So when the possibility of the Palestinians having a state came at the price of the understanding and making the concessions that Israel's existence is final, and conceding whatever weapon they had in order to someday remove Israel, then they chose, rather than have a state and accept Israel, to not have a state. And they turned down all the deals. They turned down the partition in 1947, and they turned down in 2001 and 2008. And for some reason, this talking point is very unpopular. Like when you say this, everyone says you're some Zionist propaganda pig or whatever. I don't know. Nobody has ever refuted any of this. Like nobody's claiming that Abbas accepted the deal in 2008. There's no evidence that it wasn't Arafat who walked away in 2001. By the way, there's President Clinton recently came out and said that it was Arafat who walked away. There's all the American negotiators, people like Dennis Ross, who said it was Arafat. Of course, the Israelis, and also the Saudi mediator, Prince Bandal, was part of that negotiation, and he told Arafat that you're making a crime that people will suffer for generations from walking away from this deal. You have a deal, and he didn't take it. So I don't know why, like when you bring this up, it's like, oh, well, the deal was, it's always the same thing. There's always some reason why what was offered for the Palestinians is unfair, and they had no choice but to resort to calling for Israel's destruction and violence, except for understanding that it's the ideology. They ideologically believe Israel shouldn't exist. So they're willing to suffer as much as necessary in order to reach that eventuality at some point down the line, you know? I love your vlogs from inside Israel. Please keep it up. I'm going to try. Is Israel still friend with Russia? Not so much at this point, I would say. Yitzhak Rabin was going to sign a good deal for both parties, but your people killed him. Yeah, but there's a couple problems with that. First of all, after the Oslo Accords were signed and the Palestinians the Palestinian Authority, right, was established in the West Bank, then a massive wave of terror attacks began in Israel. This was something that really killed the peace process even before Rabin was assassinated. It's what got Netanyahu elected for the first time in '96, because he was running against Shimon Peres, who was the right-hand man sort of Rabin, even though they hated each other, but that's a different story. Right? Shimon Peres was supposed to continue the process of Rabin as the peace process with the Palestinians and negotiation and everything. The problem with what he was offering is that everybody could see that when the Palestinians were given their own territory as part of Oslo Accords, and what was happening in the process where they were supposed to disavow terrorism and stop attacking the Israelis, is that they didn't do it. They actually intensified it very seriously, meaning that the era of the suicide bombers and the massive attacks against civilians started during the Oslo process. It didn't occur before. That was peak terrorism. That was the biggest wave of terrorism Israel had ever seen up until that point, until it was surpassed by 2001. So there were massive casualties in Israel from these attacks. And Shimon Peres, who was running for prime minister after Rabin was assassinated, right? He was the prime minister. He was the interim prime minister because, until the next election. And then he was running to be like reelected against Netanyahu. This was back in '96. Can't believe Netanyahu's been in politics that long. And Peres said, when some journalists and whatever in the debates, they asked him, like, what do you have to say about all these people? You're talking about peace with the Palestinians. What we're seeing is that the Palestinians are going on a rampage. They're killing all these civilians in all of these terror attacks. So Peres said that while negotiating with the Palestinians, the fact that they were they were using the freedom they had gained, right, the extra control over their own territory, control over their own weapons and all that, the fact that they were using that to kill Israelis, he called those casualties, he called them casualties of peace. He said, Ele korbanot shalom. This is the price of peace. These are the casualties of peace. In order to get to the peace process, then we have to accept the fact that while this is happening, the Palestinians are going to go around murdering people. It's like, it's the price we have to pay. And a lot of people said, well, if that's the price of peace, then I don't want peace, because that doesn't look like peace to me. In the end, Netanyahu had the harsher line saying that, while the negotiation isn't helping us, isn't stopping the Palestinians from wanting to destroy Israel and launching all these attacks, and he won the election in the end. And that's just one example out of many in Israel's history, how the constant terror inside Israel of armed Palestinians going into Israel, killing random people like they did on October 7th, what an impact it has on people here, that they have no trust in them. It doesn't come up at all in the media. Like, you'll see a wall, like the separation barrier, and it's just the Israelis were bored and they built it to oppress Palestinians. Nothing about, all the attacks that Israelis suffered in the Second Intifada, and that's why they built it. So that's what I would have to say. The two biggest waves of terror attacks that happened in Israel, mid-90s and early 2000s, happened when we were at the peak of negotiations. And that's not a coincidence. That's not a coincidence. If the Palestinians wanted to live peacefully next to Israel, then while they had this diplomatic avenue that was open, they would refrain from all of these attacks against Israeli civilians because they would see, oh, look, we have an opportunity. Diplomacy is, we have a diplomatic path. International forces are taking part in this, the US, and they have a stake in it. Let's go the diplomatic path. If they were interested in living next to Israel. Instead, when they see that the process is leading to them to get the state, they increase the violence. That's what happened historically. And that's very strange. It's counterintuitive. Like, why would you in 2001, while Israel had its most left-wing government ever, and the prime minister ran on a program of making peace with the Palestinians, Ehud Barak, and you have him in the negotiating room for over a week, and you have the backing of Clinton, who's staked his legacy on this. You have them where you want them, so to speak, to get your state. And while all this is happening, you have massive bombings of buses and attacks and all these other things that are happening. How does that make sense? It makes sense if your goal is not to live peacefully next to Israel. Is when you see that is happening, you start to get the feeling that the end of Israel is near, and then everyone, the whole inclination to go on these attacks increases. It's this sense of euphoria for the real goal, the annihilation of Israel, not to sign a deal with Israel. My thing is gonna run out of battery, so I'm just gonna do a connection here. Let's see if this charges. Okay, so we do this. All right, it's charging. Oh, okay. Thoughts on assassinating Khamenei by Mossad? I don't think that's going to happen. And I don't think it would be good either for Israel or Iran, for that matter. I think it would just give a lot of wind in the sails of the hardliners, and it would do tremendous damage. I'm not in favor of that at all. Love Israel from Afghan. When will you go to Dubai to visit the new synagogues? I was in Dubai. I didn't visit the synagogues, but I made 2 videos from Dubai. I don't know if you guys saw, or from Abu Dhabi at least. Okay, who is joining the live stream? Oh, wait. Maybe Anna can join. See if this works. Eretz Yisrael Hashlema. Imagine if all the money spent on wars was used on improving battery technology. Yeah, it'd be good. Who I debate on what subject? Didn't Rabin say he didn't want a Palestinian state but an entity? Yeah, something like that. It was like the Palestinian Authority would have a certain amount of control and territorial continuity. They would have a presence like east of Jerusalem in Abu Dis. And yeah, then after that, I don't know what would happen. But that was where the process was at the time. I mean, the thing about the Palestinian thing is that people kind of think that, hi dude, Rage of Cage. People kind of think that this dynamic of the Palestinians, the Palestinian state, right? We need to get to a Palestinian state and Israel denying them, is a dynamic that didn't always exist in this conflict. Between after the 48 war, where the Arab armies invaded, Jordan was occupied by, West Bank was occupied by Jordan. That's why they called it the West Bank, right? It was the West Bank of the Jordan River. Yeah. And Egypt occupied Gaza. There was no, we need to create a Palestinian state on part of the land. There was no such dynamic. And there was no use of the term Palestinian. For example, the ones who crossed over from Gaza into Israel to commit attacks were just called the Fedayim, the religious warriors. So that was the dynamic. You had wars with the surrounding Arab states. Israel was in a state of war with the surrounding Arab states. You had some of the local Arabs, right, the Palestinians, if you will. who were refugees or living under Jordanian sovereignty or Egyptian sovereignty, some of them committing attacks. And that's it. That was Arab states destroy Israel. Israel saying, no, don't destroy. And being in a war. There was no dynamic of Israel denying Palestinian state. What happened was that after 67, after the Six-Day War, Israel captured, after the Jordanians, who couldn't help themselves but join in the fight with the Egyptians and the Syrians, started firing on Israel, and then Israel captured the West Bank from Jordan, right? Then the Jordanian citizens and they were Jordanian citizens. And this is an interesting point because, for example, there was a man named Sirhan Sirhan. You know what he did? Because he's actually should be very famous. He's the man who assassinated Bobby Kennedy, not John F. Kennedy in 1961. His younger brother, Bobby Kennedy, or older brother, I don't remember which one it was, who was running for senator in one of the states. I don't remember. There's a movie about it called Bobby, I think. I don't know. So this guy, Sirhan Sirhan, and it says, you can see the newspaper clipping, it says, Jordanian assassinates U.S. senator in the U.S. because of his pro-U.S. stance, pro-Israel stance, by the way. And who was this Jordanian? He was from Ramallah or from somewhere in the West Bank. I don't remember which town. He was like a Palestinian, basically, if you looked at it today. But this was in 1968, even after 67 or 69, I don't remember. He was called in the newspapers a Jordanian. They were all Jordanian citizens. In 1988, the king of Jordan, King Hussein, he went like this one day and he said, all you Jordanian citizens in the West Bank, you're no longer citizens. We give up our claim and you're no longer Jordanian citizens. Strip them of their potential citizenship in Jordan in a second. Who does something like that, by the way, right? But that's what happened. So after, while the Jordanians were like relinquishing slowly their claim before that, then the the PLO goes with Arafat. And of course, Arafat didn't say anything about negotiating with Israel. He said, we want to destroy Israel. And he started doing all his attacks. And then he had the hold in Jordan, right? Yeah, he was holed up in Jordan there, committing attacks from there. And then the Jordanians kicked him out because he was destabilizing the country. Black September in 1970. You might have heard of the event. Thousands of them were killed, by the way, by the Jordanians, by King Hussein. So then they fled to where? Lebanon. And then they started attacking Israel from Lebanon, the PLO. That's why Israel went into Lebanon, in the Lebanon War. It's kind of like October 7th. People forgot what instigated it, that there was a massive attack beforehand, Coastal Road massacre. So it's just Israel invaded Lebanon. The same way in 30 years from now, they're going to say Israel invaded Gaza, not mentioning what happened before. It was only though in literally in the 80s where Arafat made the demand that the U.S. had. He said you have to say clearly that you recognize Israel, you want to negotiate with Israel, and you want to make a peace with Israel. Then we're willing to back you and put you in a negotiation with Israel. And then he did that kind of in his roundabout way, in a way that was enough. He said it enough to the Western ear of, oh, I recognize Israel, but enough to the Palestinian ear of, there will never be an Israel, right? Like usual trickery, kind of like what Netanyahu does, where he says there'll be no Palestinian state, and then he also says there will be, right? He did that, and then that process began literally in the 80s of starting to meet with European Parliament members, of the speech in the UN back in 1975, or this up to the Madrid conference in 91. That's when this whole thing started of Palestinian state headed by the Palestinian Authority, Yasser Arafat entering negotiation process. So that whole dynamic didn't exist before. There was no Palestinian state to be had. There was no leadership to talk to. There was no two-state solution on the menu at all. But once it was, Israel engaged with it and started and made the offers. And Rabin made the offer that Palestinians never had a state before. They didn't have a state under the Jordanians or the Egyptians. He said, okay, here, Palestinian Authority, you're going to have control over most of those areas, have your own entity. And then, I don't know, maybe later it would have become a state or not. But that was like a first step after years of terrorism, being attacked by them and them calling for annihilation. That was willingness to proceed. Since then, we've gone, the whole thing is gone completely, it's changed. Now it's the Palestinians are peace-loving and whatever, and it's Israel's denying them a state. That's like the way it's presented now. Someone here says I'm brainwashed. Someone here says I'm lying. I'm like, fine. Any person who wants to argue with me, show your face. Show your face. Don't type in the comment section, I like this, I like that. Come live on the screen, show yourself, and show that you're more knowledgeable than me. I'll let you talk. I won't interrupt you. Is Jordan kind of Palestinian state? Even their flags are very similar. Yeah, it's the same. All the Arab flags are the same. They're white, red, black, and green. They represent the different Arab caliphates over the years. The Umayyad, the Rashidun, the Abbasid, and the Mamluk, I think. So it's a flag. The flag, that kind of flag, was the Arab Revolt flag. The British drew it for the Lawrence of Arabia gang when they were fighting the Ottomans, and now everyone just took it on. So of course, like the Jordanian flag, same as Palestinian, only there's a star. The star represents the Hashemite family, which is the ruling family. So yeah, it's the same flag because it's the same people with the same background, same language, same culture, everything. Okay, who is going to join our Anna? Are you not joining in the end? I sent you the link, and then maybe other people will get some balls to join our talk. You're a good man, Alec. What do you think about the Saluki and his whole breakdown? I don't know. He was on my last two live streams. Saluki crashed my live stream, so he came into the comment section and he started saying stuff. And I was hoping actually that would happen this time, so then we could, because now that I have the link to invite guests, then he could join, and we could talk, and maybe we could see what's up. But I think he's just, I don't know, I think he's gone crazy, kind of. I don't know what's going on. I think Prime Minister of Israel did the Oslo Accord said, if the PLO disappears, Israel will cease to exist. What do you mean, if the PLO disappears, Israel will cease to exist? Wait, I got a notification. Anyway, yeah, we're still waiting for someone. If someone actually thinks I'm wrong on this stuff, then come debate. Show your face. Don't hide behind your keyboard. Pro-Israel, otherwise YouTube would have shut this down. What are you talking about, Omar? You think YouTube shuts down anti-Israel stuff? You know how much anti-Israel stuff there's on YouTube? It's endless. If anything, I know of channels that got shut down that were Israeli or Jewish, whatever. There's this channel, Jewish Uncensored. They got censored by YouTube. So then he said, we're changing the name to something that doesn't say Jewish. So I don't know what you're talking about. How are you from Ethiopia? Hello. Amasaganulu. Salam do? Salam now. How? Shalom Ethiopia. I'm engaging with your arguments, but you skip over comments that are inconvenient. I can't though, Enzo. I can't. There's 100 people in the comment section. I can't keep track of what everyone says. That's what I'm saying. If someone wants to properly debate me and not throw something in the comment and maybe I'll notice and give you like a detailed answer, then I say come on the stream and debate me. I just can't like debate every person in the comment section. I can't do it. It's not physically possible. Don't you feel grateful to Russia for saving your friends? Russia saved our friends? What are you talking about? What friends? I think Israel attacked the Yemeni port in Hodeidah, where the Houthis are going off. So yeah. Wow, good Amharic. Yeah, I try. I used to know numbers in Amharic when I was in Ethiopia. I forgot now. Is Don't Mess with the Zohar a documentary? No. Muhammad Islam, did you see my question? You asked me something about Muslim Brotherhood. Yeah, no, from what I remember, I mean, that was a while back, Israel wasn't happy that the Muslim Brotherhood were elected because the Muslim Brotherhood are like more pro-Hamas, right? So there were concerns. Israelis weren't happy when Morsi was elected, but the thing is that it didn't last long because Morsi was overthrown by our friend Sisi, our friend. I don't know whose friend he is. I'm just using language of Mr. Sisi, who's been in charge for a long time now. What? Over 10 years. Free Iran without mullahs and ayatollahs. Sisi is a Jew. See, they don't like Sisi, the Egyptians. They think he's sucking up to Israel too much. But yeah. Saying hello from Miami. Mike, no-go zones. Oh, Mike, you sent me a message, right? Do you want to join my live stream then? I'm looking for someone to join the live stream like in on the screen, right? So I offered here to anyone who wants. I have the link and you can join me on the screen. So if you want, because you're a YouTuber, right? Then you can join now. I'll send you the link. Just send me on Instagram a message. Anna, what do you mean? So it's gonna happen? I sent you the link, Anna. Try press on that link. Huh? Anna, try press on the link. But can I join? Yeah, press on the link. Why? Is it did you press? I didn't receive anything. Am I supposed to receive something? Let's test this. I've never done this before. I don't see the link. Okay, wait. So we have someone here. Wait a second. Okay. Try click on that, Mike. Okay, so we got a request here. Okay, it says Snicky. I don't know what that is, but like I added someone. Okay, so this is our first guest. What's going on? So we have a split screen here. Wait a second. I see a split screen here. It says cannot join. Why? Why does it say cannot join? Damn. Muhammad Ehsan. Tomorrow is my birthday. Oh, we have a birthday on the same day. My birthday is tomorrow, guys. Permissions? Wait a second. So what? Viewer, manage guests. Waiting. No, it says waiting. I have someone here. It says waiting. And my only option here for the person who's waiting, we're trying to get the guest thing working, right? Waiting. It says I can remove. That's it. It doesn't give me an option to, yeah, it's not giving me an option to do anything. Happy birthday. Thank you. Wait. So we're trying to get some guests on. Sorry for this. I mean, there's an invite link here that I have, so I can send it. Okay, so we have another person here is trying to join.
Oh.
So it's working. Okay, so here we have
Oh, now it's working. Finally.
Anna
Oh, it was such a hassle.
from Swedish Girls on
Oh,
Adventures is one of my biggest supporters. So good to see you. Um, so what do you say? I want to. Someone says I want to give you $500 for your birthday. I wouldn't say no to that. Is it okay if I send you
yeah, but
500? It's definitely okay. I have a Patreon. You can send it. Yeah.
I guess it's a no-no for me to send a donation for you on your birthday.
Well, someone here says
You
it's
forbade that.
Someone here says it's a very shady thing to do, and you can't ignore it forever. You came from an empire, but you admired the village people that you raped culture more. I hope you have the answer to God for this. I don't know if that's someone's talking to me. I don't understand why people who are from cultures that belong to empire become obsessed with the tribal culture that you feel inferior. That needs to be addressed. I don't. Okay, I'm gonna have to get more information on that. But let's ask Anna. You're Swedish, right? So what? Why'd you disappear? You're Swedish. What do they think of Greta? What do they think of Greta Thunberg in Sweden?
In Sweden, they think she's a joke, but a journalist, one of the journalists says, "Oh, she's like the Messiah. She's gonna save the earth." But I think that that journalist was ironic, a bit ironic.
What do you mean
They
that a
think she's
journalist?
doing.
The idea that she's a journalist, like?
No, a journalist wrote. Many journalists have written articles about her. So some like writing some west. How do you say it? Like leftist newspapers. They love her. So they think that she will be nominated for a Nobel Prize for peace,
Oh
and
yeah.
she's like our savior or something. But the right, they're like, oh, I mean, she's an embarrassment. What's she doing here? Like, is
A
she
polarizing
doing
figure.
someone? Exactly, a polarized figure.
Polarizing
And so
figure.
a polarizing figure.
So, but
Sorry,
who?
my
But what is more? Like, so if we were in Sweden and they did a poll, who do you think? Like, how many people would support her and how many would be against?
I think that maybe 25% would support her and 75%
Oh,
would be
really?
against her. Yeah. So the people are divided, but the majority think that, oh, she's just doing a PR stunt or something. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, how can a person, what can she do by coming to Gaza?
The funny thing is, when I was working as a journalist, then there was a period where she burst onto the climate scene, and there were a lot of lefty journalists working with me who were like, "Oh, Greta Thunberg, she's so wonderful, she's so brave," and I was like, "No, she's stupid, and she's not doing anything for the climate." And I got like into this row with some of the people, and I said, "No, no, no, this is a very dumb, supposedly progressive person, and you're gonna see that she's gonna be involved in a lot of bad causes in the future, which is indeed what happened." I wonder if that same person, when I came out against Greta back in the day, what she would say now. Seeing Greta wearing a kafia and accusing Israel of everything and anything.
It's so ridiculous.
Anyway, this is rough because I can hear myself. I don't know if you guys how this discussion body of your camera is frozen. Why is that? Okay.
Excuse me?
No, I'm saying my camera is frozen. Look, I'm gonna try. Can you try disconnect a second?
Yeah.
Or you know what? I'm gonna disconnect you if that's okay, and
Yeah,
see if that
that's
fixes the problem.
Shall I go online later or?
Yeah, the audio is terrible, my brother. The echo. Okay, I'm just gonna remove you, and maybe we'll bring you back later. I hope that's okay.
Fine.
Thanks, Anna, for joining and giving us your opinion on
Thank you.
Mrs. Greta Thunberg.
I hope that someone else will join the live. I mean, people, you have to be brave. Show yourselves.
Yeah, show yourselves exactly.
Are you like bots or real people?
All right,
Okay.
Anna. Thanks.
So, bye everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, now why am I frozen like this? I'm frozen, right? What's going on? Can you hear me? You can hear me, huh? Jeez. So what is going on? This failed badly. This just have your voice. This I can't see you. What is this thing? Oh man, why is it like that? Wait. At least 1 minute of video is needed to start a highlight. See, I'm still, you can hear me, but you can see, I'm still trying to figure out how this works. This, wait, there's community here. We have a community leaderboard. We have manage guests. Very strange, very, very strange. I don't know how to fix this. I mean, I'm on the manage viewer activity, analytics, manage guests. Well, it's like the darkness in Mitzrayim. We lost your video. Yes, but can't see you. Damn! How frustrating. What the hell is this? Reset the stream and use... The problem is if I reset, like if I get out of the stream and then I start a new one, it's going to be really problematic, you know? Wait, let me try something here. The problem is if I reset... Oh, no. Live now. Man, how did this just get frozen, huh? Well, yeah. Yeah, there's an option to disable camera, but where is that option? Wait. Now? What about now? Wait. Now. Oh, there we are. There we are. Turn it back on. No, it's on now. Now it's on, right? Now. I guess I was clicking with all the stuff that was going on. I was clicking. Wait, I think there's another guest. Okay, there's a guest request here from someone who reached out to me recently called Mike No Go Zones, who made some videos from Syria and Iraq and stuff. So I've never met the person, but we talked briefly. So let's add him and see what he has to say. Add. Wait. We're waiting. And here he is. Let's see if this if the sound quality is better this time, because maybe he needs earphones for it to work well, so that you don't hear me and his thing. Or maybe I need earphones. Probably I need earphones also. Mike, how's it going? We can't see you. All right, so we got someone here. We're gonna see what's going on with our guest. In the meanwhile, I'm checking through the comments, and someone says reset the Steam and use earbuds. Yeah, probably your earbuds also is remove some of the background noise stuff that's going on. Wait a second, let's see what else we got here. Mike is undercover, somebody says, because we can't see him. Okay. We can still get that. We can't see you. We can't see you. Try press on the camera. If I don't know what's showing up on your screen, but there's a camera like emoji, and maybe if you press on it, then we'll see you. I don't know. So you can try that. Okay, well, I don't know why, what we can do. See, now I just pressed on the camera and unpressed it, and then I came and disappeared. There's a camera thing there. But anyway, yeah, so I wanted to ask you, you traveled a bit in places like Syria and Iraq, right? Damn, your connection is really, really poor. Like you're getting cut off. Where are you right now? Okay. Guys, the tech is letting us down. Someone says you're in outer space because of the way you sound. Yeah. The problem, okay, we can do without video, but with bad sound, it's really difficult. Yeah, it's not working. We can't hear. We just can't hear what you're saying, so it's a problem. Maybe if you get a better connection. I don't know if it's the connection or something with my. I mean, my connection's fine. I don't know if it's coming from my end with the whole YouTube feature, but it's not working well. All right, Mike, we gotta let you go. Very good debate. Someone says, gotta let you go. Sorry, because it's just the quality is just not. We can't hear you, so I'm sorry about that. Hopefully next time. Okay. Oh, now you sound okay. Wait a second. What happened? Why'd you sound okay now? Say something. Okay. Well, now I can hear you now. So maybe we can try again. Just you can tell me a bit about what it was like in Iraq, for example, traveling. Hmm. Someone here says, is he dialing up a modem? Because it sounds like a modem that's connecting from 1999. Still can't hear you, buddy. Someone says you're on you're on Iraqi Wi-Fi. That's why you sound like that. Huh? All right, Mike. We tried. We tried. I gotta let you go. It's just not the connection isn't good enough. I really want to hear what you have to say, but the connection is just not good enough. Sorry about that, man. Thanks for trying to come on, and hopefully we'll see you next time. All right, we gotta let Mike go here because he's got internet from 1999, unfortunately. So yeah. All right. After all our technical difficulties, we are down to just 22 people in the live stream. Hello from they have poor connection. No, but he's not in. I don't think he's in Iraq right now. He was in Iraq, but yeah. What can we do? All right, Mike. Thank you for joining. Unfortunately, that was really, really bad internet that we had over there. All right. What else? Behi says, I want to come online, but I'm afraid. Look, you can come online and not show your face, right, without camera. If you want, that's also an option. You don't have to have the camera on. Why did Netanyahu make us go to war with Iraq? Netanyahu didn't make you go to war with Iraq. That was your decision. You know? Amazing. Every event, somehow Israel was responsible. So exhausting, just. Hi, come to India. Well, I don't know what to say. Somebody asked me something. You say Netanyahu was in favor. You are aware that Netanyahu was not prime minister when this happened, yeah? I'm just saying. By the way, during the Iraq war, Netanyahu wasn't even prime minister. I got tired. I think I'm gonna end this stream here. Why won't Oriel join the live? I don't know. Just this time people didn't come. Last time Saluki was here, Traveling Cloud was here, Oriel was here, everyone was here, but we didn't have the option on, and you can't turn it on. Oh wait, maybe you can turn this on in the middle of the stream. No, I think you have to turn it on before. That was the problem. Omegle is back. Yeah, I never did the Omegle thing. I found it to be annoying. All these people go on Omegle and fight on Omegle. I just think it's stupid. But yeah, maybe that's something to try to do in the future. Not Omegle, whatever the replacement was. Yeah, whatever the replacement was. I don't know. All right, guys, I think we're going to wrap this up. I think we're going to wrap this up. I will just say again, I hope I get at least one more Patreon supporter to share some videos from my travels that I haven't shared yet on Patreon for Patreon members only. I just don't have enough supporters on Patreon. So if we can get one more supporter on Patreon, that'll be good. I'm also sharing on Patreon parts of my book that I'm writing, which is about the most interesting parts of my travels to Egypt, to Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Morocco, like all these Muslim countries that I went to as an Israeli and what I experienced there. Book is coming along. You know, it's a couple pages a day, but it's coming along, and you can get to see some of the chapters as they come up. Do more lives, bro. Figure out a setup. Ask Clad. Yeah, I used to do a lot of lives, but the comment will be published. What comment? What comment? No video? Why? We have video. All right. All the comments here. I don't know. No, the ones here, no. When the video, this like live stream, if it stays on my channel, I don't even have to keep it on my channel because it doesn't get that many views after the live, right? I can take it down. But the comments that are made during the live stream itself are usually not visible. About the book, so yeah, you know, I basically ended up doing this series where I went to Egypt, I went to Saudi Arabia, I went to Morocco, I went to Indonesia, I went to Malaysia, places that most people from Israel don't travel to, and I had a bunch of experiences there. A lot of those experiences show up in my videos, so you can actually see them in the video. Some of the things I write about in the book are things that happened to me while the camera was not rolling, so they'll be completely new to anyone who's watched all of my vlogs. And even if it's a scene that happened in the vlog that you can see it sort of on video, then there's a lot of kind of behind the scenes stories of what were my concerns traveling to these places, how did I get by, what did I plan and happen, and how things happened. It's just, if you like my vlogs from places like Egypt, Saudi, and you want more context, you want more information on the Israeli angle, how these countries view Israel, the people. I add in a lot of information that I just couldn't add in the vlogs, background information that's super, super interesting. For example, in my trip to Egypt, there's a scene at the beginning of my video when I went to Egypt where I showed this Egyptian comedian that he was on this show where they pranked him that he's on an Israeli show, and then he goes and he starts assaulting people on the set. And I use that kind of as a way to kind of visually show my concern as someone from Israel going to visit Egypt. So like I write a little bit more about that show and what people thought about that show in Egypt and other scenarios that were similar that happened on that show. It's called A Judgment After a Prank. I forgot how you say that in Arabic, but so that's like, for example, super interesting, like context concerning Israel and Egypt. Other things also that there's a lot, like the Egypt chapters in particular are very interesting about the Israel-Egypt war, how the Egyptians view it. Like a lot of it, stuff is like me analyzing comments I got about the video and stuff. It's very, very cool stuff. If you're interested like in the Israeli angle, if you're interested in these countries and you want to learn about them, if you're interested in me and my experience, if you're interested in any of those things, then the book will give a lot of value, I hope. Yeah, so the book, you say check it out. The book isn't, it's still in the works. It's still going to take quite a bit of time, but I'm publishing some of the chapters on my Patreon. So if you're a member of Patreon, then you can read some of the chapters. For example, one of my chapters in Egypt, one of my chapters in Indonesia. Soon I'm going to publish there one of my chapters from Saudi Arabia. So you can kind of see it. And there's also scenes that I filmed from some of these places, particularly from Egypt, that you can't see anywhere else, only on my Patreon. So you get some extra stuff and you support me. I mean, that's one of the big things. Some of the food served, you looked horrible. You ate it, you were brave. Okay. All right, guys. I got tired. Yeah, I'm gonna have to have proper earphones and everything for next time. You're a very good vlogger. Thank you. And yeah, birthday time is coming tomorrow. Don't forget to wish me a happy birthday on my YouTube or on my Insta. It's coming soon. Have a nice birthday. I'll try. Have a nice birthday. Okay. All right, guys. So don't forget to check out the Patreon. Don't forget to support the channel, share with friends and all that. And hopefully I'll see you guys soon. So yalla. Bye bye.